Okay, as always, it is taking a minute to prepare the live stream, but for those of you rewatching, we have most likely already started based off of everything I've seen rewatching this thing on YouTube. John, happy Saturday, first and foremost. How are you?
A very happy Saturday to you. I'm good. I'm just actually, as we are um, going live, about to look up a couple of. We just got some injury news slash starting lineup non-news for the Knicks. I'm about to look up the same for a couple of Hawks players because I think it'll affect what our projections are tonight, as it were.
So, would you like to go over the said projections or injury reports for tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Let's start with the Knicks because that's the only information I have right now because I have not yet fully looked up what the status of Bogdan Bogdanovic and Cam Reddish is. But Noel's game time decision. And I guess we should start by saying Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker are both out.
And at time of recording, we do not know who's starting a point guard at the moment. So
that is correct. That is the other. Yes. That is the other piece of news that we are not sure about. Do you have a guess? You want to wager a guess?
There's no way Tibbs goes Alec Burks, right?
Oh, that would be he would be my favorite in the clubhouse.
Oh, you think so? That's the direction he's going to go, which will make for a very lively moment on Knicks Twitter that Emmanuel Quickley does not start tonight.
I mean, on one hand, I do kind of side with Tibbs in terms of like it's not about who starts but who finishes. At the same time, the guys who start just get more minutes, and I'd love Emmanuel Quickley to start because if he starts, he's probably going to play 30 minutes, and I'd really like to see what Emmanuel Quickley does with 30 minutes a game, which I believe off the top of my head he only got once last season. That's my big thing.
I too would like, and that's the thing, like. I'm with you that I guess when you're saying you're with Tibbs, that it's not about who starts, who finishes. With Tibbs, it absolutely is about who starts because that usually will lead to the bulk of the minutes. If we get if we get news of said reactions, lineup changes throughout the pod or throughout the show, you will be updated along with us. You'll get our live reactions to what the next starting five could potentially be. I was telling John before there may be some Mets news that pops up. There's a rumor floating out that Kevin Gausman, the guy that finished fourth in the National League Cy Young last year, may sign with the Mets. So you'll get my reaction to that. But hopefully what you are here for is our Prize Picks pregame show. Prize Picks has been a really good friend of ours so far over the last couple of weeks. Go to prizepicks.com. I'm about to post a link inside of our live chat. For those of you that are watching along with us now, thank you for joining us. For those of you that want to participate later, after the fact, click on the link that's in the description of this episode. And all you got to do is create your own account, use promo code Film School. That's 2 words, Film School, and you get a 100% instant match deposit. So put down $100, you get 200 to play with to start off. And the way it works is that every time, if you're tuning in for the first time, we're going to do a 5-pick flex play. John and I are going to make 5 prop bet picks tonight based off of tonight's Knicks game, 4 of which are going to involve players in tonight's game and 1 out of town bet.
You're going to do a 5-pick flex
we're going to collectively come up with one. So John's basically going to help me land on a 5-pick flex play. And
I am again going to go rogue. I went rogue for the second time in a row.
And how'd it go?
So I did Booker straight over points. Trae Young last night, straight over points. And then, as I discussed, Mr. Mikal Bridges over assists. I hit 145 smackaroos on my $20 bet. So I am now 2 for 2 on my little Prize Picks 4A. Shall we discuss how the 5-pick play panned out?
So we were right about take every single Devin Booker over. I just want to get that out there first. Because everything except free throws, he went over. He didn't take a free throw last night, but he hit over in points, he hit over in rebounds. The 3-pointers, there was no question. What we went with was over 2 3-pointers made. And then the rest of the night, Julius Randle, we took over 9.5 rebounds.
You like that one more than
I did like that one. turned out the Suns weren't going to miss shots last night. So there were not many rebounds to be had. Mikal Bridges, for the first time in 7 games, did not get 4 rebounds, at least 4 rebounds. It was over 3.5, and he had 2 last night. Again, not many rebounds to be had. I was back and forth between Bridges and Ayton, and Ayton, of course, went over in rebounds. And I took the math and the pattern with Bridges, and of course, we failed. And then Evan Fournier, arguably the most frustrating.
What do you have? 9 points in the first?
He had 9 points in the. Yes, he had 3 threes to start. The line we took was over 11.5 points. Yeah. And Evan Fournier started the game 3 of 3 from 3 in the first couple minutes and went 1 of 12 the rest of the game, ending with 11 points exactly. So we were right in saying that Evan Fournier is a streaky shooter. So while he's on his hot streaks, you should take him. The problem is that hot streak could end mid-quarter and he could go cold the rest of the game. And then arguably the most infuriating, to be honest, it was either Steph Curry over 5 for out of town. It was either Steph Curry over 5.5 3-pointers made. Like you were right about Trey. Like, congrats. The Grizzlies also had some devastation hit their team last night, because once they lost Ja, there was literally no reason for them to play the game.
Could have been worse. Could have
been worse.
It's not going to be that bad, but yeah.
Thankfully, but they, not knowing that during the game last night, they were clearly on to the next game. And so it was either Steph Curry over 5.5 threes or LeBron James over 2 3-pointers made. LeBron had 4 regulation quarters and 3 overtimes to make a third 3-pointer, and he ended with 2. So technically last night in our 5-pick flex play, we had 1.5 correct. I'm hoping we do better on this. We're technically still up in our flex plays so far and during these pre-games. But last night hit me hard because we were this close to being very right on a couple things.
The Fournier one was frustrating, and Fournier, which is appropriate because he's been a very frustrating player thus far in his short Knicks tenure. I'm wondering, to transition to tonight's game. I'm curious / wondering how the change in the starting lineup is going to impact, because this is Kemba Walker has started every game with the exception of one. The one game they didn't start, it was Derrick Rose starting. That was the game against Cleveland, in which it made a difference, but it also didn't really make a difference. So I think there is, and also listen, we it's a possibility that Tibbs makes an additional adjustment in addition to just the point guard. I mean, who's to say that he won't, change out 2 guys? We don't know. I
just threw something at me that I'm not prepared for. Tibbs benching a second starter tonight.
Well, because, look, he's always great at coming up with different rationales. And if part of it is like, well, because we had to start X for Y, we thought it would also be a good idea to go with this direction. Obviously, Fournier would be the obvious candidate. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would not shock me.
Can I email PrizePicks now to get an over under on starters replaced tonight from Tibbs, just to see if I can bet the under on 1.5, if that's what you're alleging right now?
No, I'm not. I doubt it, but I'm just saying crazy things have happened.
Okay. So we should start with Trae Young, because the Knicks are missing their 2 starting point guards. We should start with Trae Young.
So what's interesting here is my bet is that Burks is going to start. But whether it's Burks or Quickly that is going to start, I think it's an improvement on defense over what Kemba Walker would have brought against Trae Young. That said, I think we do get so caught up in these who's going to be guarding who and this and that. Whereas this is the NBA. In reality, it's like when teams want to switch or get you on a switch, they're going to get you on a switch when it really matters. And I think this comes down less to who the Knicks put Trae Young or on Trae Young initially. And again, I am nothing if not a shill for this coach. How the team defends him. You have to defend great players with the team, with your whole team, not just one guy. Trae Young over his last 3 games, has scored 30 points, 31 points, and 31 points. He has done so on 20 shots, 22 shots, and 16 shots. He is in the midst of his best stretch of the season. Coincidentally, so are the Hawks, who have not only won 7 games in a row, but have won 7 games in a row by double digits. The closest of those games was a 10-point win against Charlotte. But they have obviously their 32-point win last night, and then a 20-point win, a couple of 18-point wins. They are throttling teams, and Trae Young has found his happy place. The place I would want to start is, again, I'm just in favor of keeping these things simple when it's convenient to do so. The Trae Young points for this game is, I believe, in the mid 20s,
23 and a half.
23 and a half. I mean, we really think Trae Young's not getting 24 points?
I think there is an argument, actually, because
I'm going to start calling you the Devil's Keanu Reeves. I'm going to start calling you Keanu Reeves.
Devil's advocate. So it's not that I don't think Trae can get 24 points tonight. It's that the best bet might not be 23 and a half points tonight. So there's a world where he's dishing a ton tonight, like he did during the playoffs last year. And they just go back to the same game plan. And it's like, all right, I'm either going to pick and roll and do this floater, or if they double on me, I'll hit one of these guys like Herter, or we don't know if Bogey's playing, but any of these like 3-point assassins that the Hawks have. And like, it's 23 and a half points, but it's also 9 and a half assists.
Oh, that too.
Or 2 threes. Like you said, 2 threes or 4 free throws made.
And this is where you're going to quote me. The stat that Trae Young has had 2 or more threes in 11 or 10 of his last 11 games, I believe.
Yes, that is correct. And even more so to this point, he's had at least 2 threes in 14 of the 20 games that they've played this season. Now, these only had over 2 threes in 8 of the 20 games. So that's not even like the bet I'm leaning toward. Assists was where I was going with this, because it's either that the Hawks for the first time in 8 games go cold, or like Trae Young's going to get 10 assists easily. And we're asking him to get 9.5 assists. Couldn't you see a world where he goes 19 and 14 tonight? Like, it's an overall good game, but because like the Knicks don't have a point guard that can stop him from like getting wherever he wants to, that he's going to be able to kind of control the game a certain way.
I think 10 assists is a lot of assists, and it doesn't matter who you are. And that's like kind of a game flow thing where it's just, if you give me the choice of either the points or the threes, either of which is a great bet, or the assists, I'm going safer. And I mean, honestly, but here's the thing. Trae Young does have the occasional off shooting game from 3. The thing is, he's like, and I guess probably the more important stat, as much as like how many threes he has made, is how many threes he shoots. And again, just looking at this year, the least amount of threes that he shot, hold on, I'm pulling it up right now, because when he takes so many, it's like, even if he's cold for a little bit, some part of a stretch of game, like, he's going to keep firing away. He only took 4 in the last game. That's the lowest that he's taken all season. He has not taken less than 4 threes in the game and he's only taken 4, 1, 2, 3 times. In this stretch, again, looking at recent history, this is attempts now: 6, 9, 7, 6, 7, 13, 5, 11, 8, 9. It's like he's taking a lot more because he's making more, because the cold stretch that he started the season with is over. I find it hard to believe that guy is going to go like 1 for 7. All that said, I like the points bet.
I'll say this: I'm between the points bet and the assist bet, but it's the same rationale we used last night, not taking the over and assist for Bridges, because like, it's too dependent on teammates. Like, all you need is your teammates to go cold and your assist numbers are down. Like, Chris Paul easily got the 10 assists last night because the Suns were hitting everything. I am between those two. I've circled both of them for now. The next one I think we should talk about is the guy who struggled against the Atlanta Hawks in the playoffs last year, to a point where it became a conversation topic throughout the offseason. And that's Julius Randle. The available bets for Julius Randle: 19 and a half in points, 9 in rebounds, 5 in assists, and 3 in free throws made. I have no idea what to do with this. Last night was concerning, but I think at a certain point when nothing was working, like, Julius played poorly last night. I can't say a Nick other than quickly played well last night, and Kemba for like stretches. So I'm a little, what do you see from Julius tonight? So, okay, here's the actual caveat I'll throw at you before you answer that question.
Yeah.
What do you see Julius tonight for the second time without Kemba Walker?
I think there has been a push and pull all season between. I don't want to say it's strictly between Julius and Kemba. It's between Julius and Julius, and it's between Julius leaning into basically being the guy that he was last season, and Julius trying to be something different, and be more accommodating to accommodating is the wrong word, but basically try to be the guy that we thought he was going to or would have to play like with these other guys, which is kind of shoot less. But as I've talked about a lot over the course of the year, like Julius was great last year because Julius just shot and didn't think twice about shooting unless they put two on the ball, in which case he passed. And that was very simple. He did not have to think a lot. And for a guy who has at times been accused of being, I'm not going to say a low IQ player, but like, he's not LeBron out there, right? That he's not manipulating the defense. I think that was better, like simple was better for him. And Seth Partnow just had a really nice thread before about how, Julius isn't taking fewer tough shots. He's taking slightly more tough shots this year. So it is the textbook definition of the whole not being greater than the sum of its parts. All that said, Kevin's not playing. I would guess that we are going to get everything going through Julius Randle tonight. Now, that could mean Julius Randle hits the points easily, or that could mean Julius hits the assists easily. I think it could be both very easily. And quite frankly, I would not be surprised if he has one of his best games of the season against this team that like everybody's been telling him for however many months, like, oh, they figured out Julius Randle. Of the two, I would probably go assists.
But I would go too.
I don't say that with much conviction.
Yeah, I'm never taking him in rebounds again. That's just flat out too inconsistent. And
yeah, but if Noel doesn't, so if Noel's a game time decision, I think he was a game time decision once before and didn't play. Did play the one other time he was a game time decision. If my memory serves, or there was at least one other time he was a game time decision and did play. There may have been some times where he was a game time decision and didn't. If Noel doesn't play, I think the rebounds is a good bet.
Now you're talking me back into rebounds. I don't like that, John. I don't like that, John Macri.
I think honestly, my gut is telling me to go points, but my head is telling me to go assists. So I'm gonna go. I will personally. I'm gonna trust my gut, and I think I'm going over Julius on points when I make my secret bet after we do this exercise. But
okay,
it's tough. I like both of them. I like actually all three of them. I like probably the points and the assists the most.
Okay, so then I've circled both assists and points for now with a star next to rebounds. Okay, we didn't even touch on it. Free throws, over under 3. I hope Julius gets to the line enough where he can make 4 free throws tonight. But
that was his formula against his team last season.
Mm-hmm.
He baited guys into foul trouble, but like I don't know that they're necessarily going to give him as many of the benefit of those calls. And we've touched on his issues at the line this year. Hasn't been great. So yeah.
Next up, John Collins. So can I go over John Collins's game log for the duration of this win streak? He's played in all 7 of these games, 19. And so I'm going to go one to their last loss. He had 26 points. Then he scored 19, 23, 20, 15, 11, 15, and 21. His point total for tonight is 14.5 points. I feel like that's a bold print that I would put for John Collins is over for points. Rebounds, I'm not as confident. It's 7.5. He's someone that could get you 12. He's someone that could get you 3. Although now that I'm looking at it, there's a lot more. 7.5. He's had at least 7 rebounds in 13 of their 20 games this season. So that's actually not a terrible. This is where PrizePicks get you, where they go at the average, and that's what you have to bet over. John Collins last season, I mean, he's like a 16 and 13 guy potentially every night if he gets the minutes, and he's been getting the minutes with the Hawks. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I wish they had an over under for 1 John Collins made 3.
Won 3.
Because it seems like the dude hits a few from the corner, because he's going to get his corner 3 attempts against the Knicks. He always does. And I would not be surprised if he hit one of those. That said, I know
there's a case for points. There's a case for points. The Hawks have been scoring points lately. There's a case for points.
I know he's been playing very well. I think the Knicks defense on the road has been probably, you know what? Here's another thing that would not shock. This is a little devious of me. I don't know if I'm ready to actually.
Oh,
say
no.
This. They have dragged. Anyone who's watched them knows that they have dragged. The starting 5 has dragged defensively. And there has been an attempt, I think a correct attempt, perhaps, to relate that to the performance of the starters on offense, and how when the offense isn't going the right way, the defense kind of follows suit. And I also suspect that there may be some, again, not that anyone's mad at anybody else or anyone's like out on anybody else, but like, you know, it feels like the Kemba piece is the piece that has perhaps not fit. And that's where maybe some of the tension lies. So I just openly wondering, with Kemba out, are we about to see the most inspired defensive performance of the season for the Knicks? And that would perhaps give me some trepidation about taking John Collins with points, or John Collins with anything for that matter. Trae Young, I think Trae Young is going to get his regardless, but the Collins part of it is the part that I'm not sure about.
I'm not enticed by either John Collins bet right now. So I'm with you on that it's 2 either way right now. Yeah. That I'd stay away. We need to have a serious conversation though. As we get to our next player. And to those of you that are joining us in the chat, thank you first of all for joining us. A quick reset. If you want to play along with us, go to prizepicks.com. Use promo code Film School, create your account. They give you an instant match up to $100 on your first deposit. So again, drop $100 if you want to play, drop $20 if you want to play. They will double it up on your first deposit. It's up to 5 prop bets you can pick each night. You can win up to 10 times as much as your deposit on a 5 pick flex play. Listen, drop $20, you can walk away with $100 just for picking 5 prop bets correctly. So play along with us, support our friends over at Prize Picks. We greatly appreciate it. And I mention all of those disclaimers. And
who are we talking about now?
Because we're about to talk about RJ Barrett.
Oh, come on.
So you know what RJ Barrett has done in his last 10 games, John?
Not put the ball in the hole that it's supposed to go.
Yeah, he scored he scored less than 16 points 9 times.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
And his line for points tonight is 15.5.
Yeah, you know, again,
I'm not even saying like I'm out on RJ. I hate RJ. Like, I know that.
I think that's what you said. I think that's the soundbite.
Listen, then I'm just staying on the Knicks Film School brand of being critical of RJ Barrett here. I'm just saying from a value standpoint, the thing I would say is RJ Barrett under 15.5 points is a safe bet. From a value standpoint, we're talking 9 of the last 10 games. He hasn't scored 16 points. He needs 16 to hit the over tonight.
We have some news, and I think it's going to affect.
Okay, this might change everything, will it?
Right now,
Noel is out.
Noel is out.
Julius over rebounds is the new favorite in the clubhouse, John.
So actually, I'm going to go a different direction here, and I was going to bring it up anyway, and now have a lot more confidence in bringing up. I love the RJ over rebounds because with Noel out, I don't think we're going to see Mitchell Robinson for more than 25 minutes. I think Mitch is going to play, and I think we're going to get small ball for 20 to 25 minutes of this game. And I think you're going to see a lot more of the RJ that we saw a couple games ago when he grabbed the career high 15 rebounds.
That's we can have our cake and eat it too, and that we're staying away from RJ under 15.5 points by instead taking the over on his rebounds. It's got to get 5 rebounds tonight.
That is what we're going to do.
Okay. I like it. And then the last 2 players to talk about on the board, Clint Capela. It's either 11.5 points or 13 rebounds. Clint Capela this season, do you want to guess how many times he's had at least 13 rebounds?
8.
It's a good guess. I'm going to hopefully Basketball Reference will refresh this page while I look it up.
As an aside, Clint Capela is a guy that I liked it. Whatever the rebounding number is, especially with Noel out, I like him to get over the number.
He's had at least 13 rebounds in 11 of their 20 games, but he's had at least 10 in 17 of their 20 games. You're asking him to get a couple more rebounds in a game that the Knicks don't have their two of their top 3 centers.
I like the over. God knows he murdered them in the playoffs last year. I'm not sure I love it enough to take it.
I
guess my daughter doesn't either.
I think it's either Collins or Capela is your bet here. And yeah, I like Capela over, but 13 is a lot.
13's a good, like, again, it's how the ball bounces, like, to a certain extent. Like, we're not, this is why, like, Mikal Bridges last night, it's one thing to bet him, 4 rebounds. And even that he didn't get because the ball bounces away. Right.
Yeah.
So it's
Capela will be down there is my only thought. So if the Knicks go cold again, there's going to be a lot of rebounds available.
Like, there are guys who get rebounds literally every game. And I know Capela is among the league leaders, but 13 is a lot. 13 is a big number.
I agree. And last but not least, I'm not touching either of these, but Evan Fournier, 11.5 points, Evan Fournier, 2 made threes, or Evan Fournier, 3 rebounds, 2.5 technically. So he's got to get 3 rebounds at the over. I'm just not touching Evan Fournier, which is saying I'm not touching Fournier, if you take that out of context, is an interesting sentence. But Evan Fournier, the basketball player, I was infuriated last night when he made me watch the second half of that game, literally begging all of his shots to go in, and they're not even close, almost as if he knew that I just needed one of these wide threes to go in. And here he is settling for 11 points. He had like a bunny that he missed too, which I took personally. I'm staying away from all Evan Fournier bets is my thought, John.
I think that's probably smart.
Okay.
Can I give you my out of town bet?
Yes.
There is a game of some importance, perhaps you might say.
Yes. Second screens for me tonight. Yes.
Going on across the old, not across the river. Brooklyn is not across the river.
No, it's not.
From Atlanta. But it is going on in Brooklyn, and that is the Suns facing off against the Nets. The Nets have gotten, as discussed recently on the Knicks Film School podcast with Evan Roberts. I was about to say Evan Fournier. Sorry, Evan Roberts.
No.
The Nets have gotten spanked in the 2 games that they've played that mattered this year against the Bucks and the Warriors. I do not think they will make it 3. I think the streak ends tonight. I think the Nets come out with their best performance of the season, and I would be positively shocked if Kevin Durant did not get at least 27 points, which would be over for him at 26.5.
27's a lot of points. I know it's Kevin Durant we're talking about.
It's also Kevin Durant.
But there's also the Phoenix Suns we're talking about. Have a lot of people they could throw at him. I'm not even saying he won't have a good game, but a good game could be 26 or 25.
And I think he's going to go well over that.
Okay. I like the confidence. I will give you my out of town bet in a second.
There's some
other ones I like.
I'm not sure if it's still alive or if we missed the cutoff. I think actually my page just refreshed and we did miss the cutoff. The Embiid number I think was 23.5 for the game in his return game. That's a little high for his first game back. If you like some of the Phoenix guys for points in like Mikal Bridges 10.5 points against Brooklyn, like that's it's fine.
That's what I looked at. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel particularly strongly about any of the other ones that are on the board for the added, like none of these games scream at me like, oh, this is, Luka has I think an 8.0 for assists. That's an interesting little number. But do I love it enough? It's a lot of assists. Sometimes he just scores more than passes it. The Brooklyn one is like, again, give me Durant in a big game. And I say this knowing he had a terrible game against Golden State.
No, that's fair. And this is where hopefully the prime-time-ness of this game actually lives up to the hype that makes it a good game.
And if you want to give me, and I'll look up his game log right now. If you want to give me James Harden, I don't even know what his recent performance has been from deep, but he's at 2.5 threes is the over under for this game. Again, I have a feeling the Nets are going to have a big performance. So,
okay. So let's do the 4 picks for tonight. We'll start there.
Okay.
I am going to take, all right, I'll listen to you, John. Trae Young over in points, 23.5.
Smart.
I will take, we doing Julius 5 assists or 9 rebounds?
You got to do the rebounds in light of the Noel news, right?
Because of the Noel news, I agree. And then we're doing RJ over in rebounds, not RJ under in points.
I would do Randle and RJ over in rebounds.
Breaking, you just retweeted this out of
Bogdanovich and Reddish are both playing
tonight. So we're doing RJ over in rebounds. If Bogey and Hurt and Reddish are playing,
I mean, honestly, it doesn't change that much for me.
It doesn't. Okay.
Not really.
All right.
The Hawks are good.
Let me get Capela over rebounds. I'll go. He's gonna have like 15 rebounds tonight.
Okay.
Fuck, that's a lot of rebounds.
See, you have so little conviction.
I'm playing out the best value possible for those that are watching live right now and that will watch in the next hour. I will take. So I have to take one more in-game bet because
yes.
I'm hesitant about RJ.
Look, I love the RJ rebounds number. That's all
right. Sense. So I am. You know what? I'm gonna try and go a different direction with this. I don't know if you remember this from last year during the playoffs, but I would tweet something and then it would go the exact opposite direction. The Claudio curse was real. I'm going to take I'm telling the pattern's just there. RJ under 15.5 points. I'm going to take. I apologize to Knicks Nation that gets to watch this and thinks I'm a hater. So I'm just telling you the value play here is that RJ, prove me wrong. Make me lose money tonight. I'm begging you.
I hope it works.
And then fuck it. Why not? We'll go Kevin Durant over in points. He's got to get at least 27. So it's 26.5. So we'll take the over on a $20 bet. This wins $200. If I get all 5 right on a $20 bet, this wins $40. If I get 4 out of 5 right, and if I get 3 out of 5 right, I win $28. You win 0.4 times your deposit amount. So yeah, I hope you guys are playing along at home. Screenshot your 5-pick flex play or whatever your bet is tonight to to us, and we'd love to see what you guys ended up doing tonight.
Don't forget to use the promo code Film School and to get if you're just making your initial deposit, get double your money that you deposited, and up to $100. And then don't forget to check us out after the game on the KFS YouTube live post game, in which I will be talking. Yesterday I signed off saying I think I'd be talking about a competitive game. It didn't work out so well. I'm going to double down tonight. I think I'm going to be talking about a competitive game. We'll see what happens.
I'm hoping that one of my bets was very wrong. You know what? I'm hoping all of them are, because then it means Trae Young wasn't over. It means Capela wasn't over. I'm all for it. And that Julius didn't have to get a bunch of rebounds because all of his shots went in. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back with these, as John mentioned, stay tuned after the game onto this channel for the KFS post-game show. Jeremy and John will have a show Monday morning right here, the regular Knicks Film School podcast. And then once again, back with your Prize Picks pregame show on Tuesday before the Knicks are in enemy territory where John now lives in Brooklyn. Thank you for tuning in, everybody.